At this moment, Xiaomei's patrol car was smashed like a beehive, and they bravely jumped down the slope. They barely escaped, but the helicopter was clearly determined to send them to the afterlife and quickly adjusted its aim for more mayhem. Xiaomei climbed the mountain top as bait. The helicopter watched above, but Hill shot, piercing the pilot's throat like a golf ball. The out-of-control helicopter plummeted to the ground. Though Xiaomei gave it her all to jump, the spinning tail rotor came looking for her terrifying death delivery. Hill showed up in time, pulled her to safety before the explosion and nail-biting escape. Smoke from the explosion was quickly spotted by John's team, throwing a wrench in her plans. Now they could only drive the nuke. Talk about unexpected traffic. After initial tests, it was found the full instrument showed no radiation, which obviously contradicted the rescue team's last report. Combined with John's call, Giles boldly guessed Hill may have deliberately created chaos to destabilize the plane, aiming to steal the onboard nukes. "Sir, what I meant was, how much are these nukes worth to us? How much would we pay to get them back?" Giles' speculation sent shivers down the spines of the assembled officials. "Even though only the president has the launch codes, we can't rule out the chance someone might find other ways to detonate." On Hill's side, after Xiaomei's relentless questioning, she had no choice but to spill the beans. John's helicopter had crashed. Subtitles, combining last night's alerts. Xiaomei guessed John's gang would use trucks to take nukes to plan escape. "I doubt he'll take it to the city. There's more than just rivers around here, just as Xiaomei suspected." When they reached the riverbed, they indeed saw John's team making a mad dash along the river. Hill grabbed Xiaomei's gun and instructed her to call for backup, while she figured out how to reclaim the nukes if they made a water escape. It would be a one-way trip. Before long, Hill jumped onto the wagon containing the nukes. Xiaomei surprisingly followed her up, and lo and behold, the missing Hill showed up at just the right moment, a real nuclear show. In the end, with great teamwork, Hill and Xiaomei successfully seized the wagon holding the nuke. However, John was not about to let them go easily. Hill tied a flare to an oil barrel. After lighting it, she tossed it right into John's vehicle, and the barrel exploded, cleverly stopping John's car while they sped away. But since bullets punctured the gas tank, they needed to find a hiding spot for the nukes. Xiaomei quickly reacted. She drove to an abandoned copper mine nearby, yet puzzlingly, it had a padlock definitely locking up some secrets. They had no time to ponder and parked inside, only to find the mine was rigged with a brand new lighting setup. Clearly, John had been here before. This could very well be a secret nuke hideout. Hill opened the control panel and started typing in random. They had trained for this. If the nuke's code was entered incorrectly 3 times, it would short-circuit and become useless even against John. As Hill expected, the copper mine was the sole hideout nearby. John raced over with his men. He contacted Hill through the radio in the wagon and tried to tempt her with offers to surrender, but Hill wasn't falling for it this time. She quickly typed in the wrong codes, mocking John for wasting his time. Suddenly, the indicator light lit up. The nuke was now on a 30-minute countdown. It turned out John had tampered with the nuke beforehand, planning to blow it up in the mine to intimidate the Pentagon and raise the ransom stakes. Hill glanced at the depth of the mine and came up with a plan. She told John she'd place both nukes in the pit. If one exploded, the other would go off simultaneously, a masterstroke. Little did John know he was outsmarted, and in a fit of rage, he sped his men toward the mine. Knowing the danger, they still relocated the nukes to a 2,000-foot deep mine. Just as they secured the activated nuke and prepared to leave, John's crew arrived and opened fire, leading to an epic standoff. Hill and Xiaomei had no choice but to retreat deeper into the mine, allowing John to regain control of the nukes. John ordered his men to pursue. Then, once gone, he cut the nuke's countdown to 13 minutes. He wasn't about to let anything go wrong, so he ordered the unactivated nuke to be brought back to the surface. At this moment, Hill and Xiaomei reached the elevator via the supply tunnel, ready to make their escape only to be welcomed by grenades thrown by John. The elevator had been blown to shreds, and the 2 desperate individuals could only exchange farewells. Just then, Xiaomei recalled the mine's underground river, reigniting their hope. They swiftly referenced the map and reached the underground river entrance, diving headfirst into the rushing water. The 2 floated along and were quickly swept into a nearby freshwater lake. What a water escape! At this time, only 1.5 minutes remained before the nuke detonated, and John, just leaving the copper mine, was caught by a passing rescue team. By now the old white panicked and rambled. Flustered John grabbed snacks and handed them over, then turned off the wagon's engine. He stopped his men from firing and waited quietly. Seconds later, with a thunderous bang, subtitles, a massive fireball suddenly shot out from the entrance of the copper mine, followed by a violent shaking of the ground. In an instant, a massive pit hundreds of meters deep formed, and even the airbase 200 miles away felt the tremors. At that moment, the ground around the pit rolled like waves. Nuke's electromagnetic pulse disabled the helicopter's gear, causing it to lose control and crash. Then John sprinted toward the river with the nukes like a madman. At this time, his 2 men were ready by the riverbank, with Hill and Xiaomei having just escaped nearby.